Gimli, Gimli, Gimli.
Gimli. You didn't connect shit. 2 meters.
I don't think I said that right. Hey!
Last we left our fair heroes, they were running. And running. And running.
Before dawn was in the sky, he woke and rose. Gimli was still deep in slumber. Legolas was standing, gazing northwards into the darkness, thoughtful and silent as a young tree in a windless night. They are far away, he said sadly, turning to Aragorn. Nonetheless, we will still follow as we may, said Aragorn. Stooping, he roused the dwarf. Come, we must go. Where sight fails, the earth may bring us rumour, said Aragorn. He stretched himself upon the ground with his ear pressed to the turf. He lay there motionless for so long a time that Gimli wondered if he had swooned or fallen asleep again. Hours.
Because it was dark when he started and now it's dawn.
The rumour of the earth is dim and confused. It failed me! Faint and far are the feet of our enemies, but loud are the hoofs of horses. Well, let us go, said Legolas. So the third day of their pursuit, 3 days! The closest I've come to appreciating the length of their journey is playing the Lego Lord of the Rings and having to run from one side of the map to the other.
Yeah. And they're like, run on foot from Hobbiton to Isengard. I'm like,
no
oh,
horses. Yeah. Now twice 12 leagues they had passed over the plains of Rohan. Slowly the downs drew near. It was still an hour before noon when they reached them, green slopes rising to bare ridges that ran in a line straight towards the north. The sun was sinking when at last they drew near to the end of the line of downs. They were going slowly now, and Gimli's back was bent. Oh, poor baby. Stone hard are the dwarves and lame. Stone hard are the dwarves. But this endless chase began to tell on him, as all hope failed in his heart. Only Legolas still stepped up as lightly as ever. But in the way bred of the elves he found all the sustenance that he needed, and he could sleep. If sleep it could be called by men, resting his mind in the strange paths of elvish dreams, even as he walked open-eyed in the light of this world. There you go, it's confirmed! And he sleepwalks. How terrifying is that? Camping with that thing. Not gonna make any noises.
Oh no.
You get up in the middle of the night to pee.
Blood has been spilled this night.
Maybe that's why. Let us go up onto this green hill, he said. Wearily they followed him.
Aragorn saw a shadow on the distant green. A dark, swift-moving blur. He cast himself upon the ground. And he listened. Legolas stood beside him, shading his bright elven eyes with his long, slender hand. He saw not a shadow nor a blur, but the small figures of horsemen. And the glint of morning on the tips of their spears was like the twinkle of minute stars beyond the edge of mortal sight.
That's beautiful.
Riders, cried Aragorn, springing to his feet. Many riders on swift steeds are coming towards us. Yes, said Legolas. There are 105. Yellow is their hair, and bright are their spears. Their leader is tall.
When Gimli's just looking and it's just like a blob and he's like, huh?
Aragorn smiled. Keen are the eyes of the elves, he said. The 3 companions, the boys, now left the hilltop. Wrapping their cloaks about them, they disappeared. Bravo 1 going dark. What do you know of these horsemen, Aragorn? I've been among them, answered Aragorn. They are proud and willful, but they are true-hearted. It was in forgotten years long ago that Eomer brought them out of the north. But Gandalf spoke of a rumour that they paid tribute to Mordor, said Gimli. I believe it no more than did Aragorn, answered Aragorn.
Boromir has been written out of this story.
You will soon learn the truth, said Legolas. Already they approach. Now the cries of clear, strong voices came ringing over the field. And the foremost horsemen swerved, passing by the foot of the hill. In pairs they galloped by. The Rohirrim ride by two, hurrah, 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 hurrah. The host had almost passed by when suddenly Aragorn stood up and called in a loud voice.
Grandmama, it is me, Anastasia.
What news from the north, riders of Rohan? With astonishing speed and skill they checked their steeds, wheeled and came charging round. Soon the 3 companions, the boys, found themselves in a ring of horsemen moving in a running circle. Then one rode forward, a tall man, taller than all the rest. What voice should we give him? Who are you? What are you doing in this land?
Who are you?
I am called Strider, answered Aragorn. There is something strange about you, Strider.
You're too attractive.
He turned a cold glance suddenly upon Legolas and Gimli. Why do you not speak, silent ones? He demanded. Gimli rose and planted his feet firmly apart. His hand gripped the handle of his axe and his dark eyes flashed. Give me your name, Horsemaster, and I'll give you mine, and more beside. Eomer's eyes blazed, and the men of Rohan murmured angrily, and closed in, advancing their spears. I would cut off your head, beard and all, Master Dwarf, if it stood but a little higher from the ground. He stands not alone,
Here comes Legolas.
said Legolas, bending his bow and fitting an arrow with hands that moved quicker than sight. You would die before your stroke fell. But Aragorn sprung between them, and raising his hand, your pardon, Eomer.
Please ignore my idiot friends. Aragorn just stood up to have a peaceful talk with them, and then Gimli and Legolas like, fight me!
No, I really think that Galadriel's a witch, and Gimli's like, what did you say? When you know more, you will understand why you have angered my companions. Will you not hear our tale before you strike? I will, said Eomer, lowering his blade. But wanderers in the Riddermark would be wise to be less haughty in these days of doubt. First, tell me your right name. Aragorn threw back his cloak. The elven sheath glittered as he grasped it, and the bright blade of Anduril shone like a sudden flame as he swept it out.
And he swept it out, he accidentally cut Eomer's head off, and then they all speared them to death.
The bright blade of Anduril shone like a sudden flame as he swept it out, carefully this time. I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn. He seemed to have grown in stature while Eomer had shrunk.
Hey, this one's broken. Whoop!
Eomer stepped back and a look of awe was on his face.
He's so in love already.
You heard that we are pursuing an orc host that carried off our friends. What can you tell us? We do not speak of dwarves or children, said Gimli. Our friends were hobbits. Hobbits, said Eomer.
What the fuck is a hobbit?
Halfling, laughed the rider that stood beside Eomer. Do we walk in legends or on the green earth in the daylight? Peace, Eothane, said Eomer in his own tongue.
Muttering, Eothane retired and spoke to the others. Soon they drew off and left Eomer alone with the boys. Alas, Gandalf will ride no longer. He fell into darkness in the mines of Moria, said Aragorn. My part it has been to guide our company on the long road from Moria, and thence down the leagues to the great river to the falls of Rauros. There Boromir was slain by the same orcs whom you destroyed. Your news is all of woe, cried Eomer. Be happy, goddammit! When did he fall? It is now the 4th day since he was slain, answered Aragorn. And since the evening of that day we have journeyed from the shadow of Tol Brandir. On foot! Cried Eomer. Eomer's like, you just keep getting more attractive. Wide wonder came to Eomer's eyes. Strider is too poor a name, son of Arathorn. He said, Wingfoot I name you. And Hardy McHardy. Are we just making Eomer, like, unreasonably thirsty?
We are. Meanwhile, like, all of his riders are seeing it. They're just like, is he smitten again? Yeah. Oh, God.
This is the 3rd one this week. Hardy is the race of Elendil. But now, Lord, what would you have me do? We shall not forsake our old alliance with Gondor, and while they fight, we shall aid them. Then you do not pay tribute to Sauron, said Gimli. We do not!
Never have!
How dare you! Said Eomer. Some years ago, the Lord of the Black Land wished to purchase horses of us at great price, but we refused to. Then he sent plundering orcs, and they carried off what they can, choosing away the black horses.
Aesthetic.
It's on brand!
They're all gothic.
Gothic horses. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Or goth.
More goth!
We cracked it! We can go home, boy!
It is ill dealing with such a foe. He is wizard, both cunning and Dwemer crafty. Dwemer? Dwemer crafty. Having many guises. Ah, he's a costume man. He's got glasses and a fake moustache.
Hello, yes, it is I, friend of Rohan.
He walks here and there, they say, as an old man, hooded and cloaked, very like to Gandalf. Ah!
Spoiler alert.
Scouts warned me of the orc host, so suspecting what I most fear, a league between Orthanc and the Dark Tower, I led forth my Eored. We overtook the orcs at nightfall 2 days ago, near the borders of the Entwood. We are needed south and west. Will you not come?
Come home with me? Who are you? The man who's gonna marry.
There are spare horses, as you see. Yes, and we could find use for Gimli's axe and the bow of Legolas, if they will pardon my rash words concerning the Lady of the Wood. I spoke only as do all men in my land. We're all racist, it's fine. Thank you for your fair words, said Aragorn. My heart desires to come with you, but I cannot desert my friends while hope remains. Hope does not remain, said Eomer. They dared, bruh. Our friends were attired, even as we are, said Aragorn. And you passed us by under the full light of day. I had forgotten that, said Eomer. It is hard to be sure of anything among so many marvels. So many marvels. Come now, son of Eamon. The choice must be made at last. Aid us, or at the worst, let us go free. Eomer was silent for a moment, then he spoke. This is my choice. You may go, so I may watch that ass as you walk away. And what is more, I will lend you horses. This only I ask. When your quest is achieved, or is proved in vain, return with the horses over the Entwade to Meduseld. In this I place myself and maybe my very life in the keeping of your good faith. Eomer gave orders that the spare horses were to be lent to the strangers, but only Eothane dared to speak openly. Eothane's got to have a haughty voice.
No, I was thinking like nasal line. Well, Papa Smurf says, you know.
Mulble. It may be well enough for this lord of the race of Gondor, as he claims, but who has heard of a horse of the mark being given to a dwarf?
Such a racist!
Come, you shall sit behind me, friend Gimli, said Legolas. Gimli was lifted up behind his friend, and he clung to him, not much more at ease than Sam Gamgee in a boat. Aww.
You better not let me fall, elf.
I swear to God, if I fall off. Something! Farewell, and may you find what you seek, cried Eomer.
Eomer?
Cried Eomer. Let our swords hereafter shine together. Bam, 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 bam. With that they parted, very swift were the horses of Rohan. When, after a little, Gimli looked back, the company of Eomer were already small and far away. Before long they came to the borders of the Entwash, and there they met the other trail, of which Eomer had spoken. Now we must ride slower, and make sure that no trace or footstep branches off on either side. The orcs must have been aware from this point that they were pursued.
At last, as the afternoon was waning, they came to the eaves of the forest, and in an open glade among the first trees they found the place of the great burning. Aragorn and his companions searched far and wide about that field of battle, but the light faded and evening soon drew down, dim and misty. By nightfall they had discovered no trace of Merry and Pippin. A little way beyond the battlefield they made their camp under a spreading tree, when the dwarf had a small bright blaze going. The three companions,
the boys!
Legolas looked up at the boughs of the tree reaching out above them. Look, he said, the tree is glad of fire.
It's a happy tree!
After a while Legolas spoke again. Celeborn warned us not to go far into Fangorn, he said. Do you know why, Aragorn? I had thought of asking you what was the truth of the matter. If an elf of the wood does not know, how shall a man answer? You have journeyed further than I, said Legolas.
This is like the opposite of a dick measuring contest.
I have heard nothing of this in my own land, save only songs that tell how the Onodrim, that men call Ents, dwelt there long ago. Meanwhile, Merry and Pippin are riding Treebeard like, woo!
You can just hear them screaming in the distance. What was that? Must have been the wind.
They now drew lots for the watches, and the lot for the first watch fell to Gimli. The others lay down. Almost at once sleep laid hold on them. He turned around and he was like, hey Legolas. Gimli, said Aragorn drowsily, remember it is perilous to cut boughs or twigs from the living trees in Fangorn.
Don't fuck shit up, Gimli.
Pull me at need. Legolas already lay motionless, his fair hands folded upon his breast.
His eyes unclosed.
So now he's sleeping like frickin' Dracula.
Yeah. Dracula Legolas.
Like Gimli sat hunched by the fire. Suddenly Gimli looked up, and there, just on the edge of the firelight, stood an old bent man, leaning on a staff and wrapped in a great cloak. Gimli sprang up, too amazed for the moment to cry out, so he said nothing.
We're gonna take back that play the reverse.
Aragorn and Legolas, roused by his sudden movement, sat up and stared. Not that Legolas wasn't staring already, but you know. The old man did not speak or make a sign. Well,
Father!
What can we do for you? Said Aragorn, leaping to his feet. Come and be warm if you are cold. Jesus, this could be Saruman. Bring him in. He strode forward, but the old man was gone. Suddenly Legolas gave a cry. The horses! The horses! The horses were gone. As they stood, it seemed to them that they heard, far off in the night, the sound of horses whinnying and neighing.
Fuck you!
Well, they are gone, said Aragorn at last. We must do without. We started on feet, and we have those still. Feet, said Gimli. But we cannot eat them as well as walk on them. I want to eat feet.
I want to eat. Keep going. Just keep going, it's fine.
Only a few hours ago, you were unwilling to sit on a horse of Rohan, laughed Legolas. You will make a rider yet.
You will make a rider yet, said Legolas.
Oh god! It seems unlikely that I still have the chance, said Gimli. I think it was Saruman. Who else? Remember the words of Eomer. There is no more trouble coming to us, mark my words. There is more trouble coming to us, mark my words. The night passed slowly, but nothing happened. The old man did not appear again, and the horses did not return. We did it!
We did it! So, we shall go on to chapter 3 next time.
Indeed.
Depends on how long it takes us to edit this.
Oh, my hair. Just call me the Bog Witch. Thank you for joining us today for our reading of The Two Towels. Please join us next time for more entertaining hijinks.
Goodbye.